Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. A lot of people are going to the stores and going, wow, there's no ammo. Yeah, well, hello. There's some, but for a lot of rifle ammo particularly, if you are a hunter trying to find ammo for your hunting rifle, it's just hard to find. And people are going, well, maybe, I don't know, I've thought about taking up hand loading. Maybe I could make my own ammo. Is it smart? Is it a thing to do? Is it too late to get involved with it? You know, we could talk about all of that. Joining me, who can actually fill us in on a lot of this, is Lou Smith from reloadingalldday.com and the avidshooter.com. Hey, Lou, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, excellent. I think I started reloading about 60 years ago. So I was forced labor. My dad had me loading his shotgun shells for him when he was shooting trap. And I didn't know that, that was forced labor. I just thought it was fun. So there you go.
I had a very similar child upbringing. So
well, you kind of got into
ATA quite a bit.
You got into it, ATA, okay. And also, I guess you came in through the bench rest side of things.
That was my father. Yeah, he taught me some of his bench rest reloading methods once I started shooting center fire.
Right. Okay. And for those who may not know the history, I mean, way back, I was the editor of Handloader magazine. But you go back to, there was a time when about the only way you were going to get accurate ammo was to make it yourself. And there was a time when people would read Warren Page, and you had people like Neil Knox, who people know him through the NRA, but he was actually a bench rest competitor and champion. And factory ammo back then in rifles, and rifles themselves, I mean, they would say, oh, yeah, 2 inches is, well, what do you expect? That's all you can expect out of those things. And of course, now you would send it back to the factory immediately if it only shot 2 inches, right?
Absolutely. There's companies out there claiming half MOA guarantee out of the box with factory ammunition offerings these days.
Well, absolutely. So, all right. So you do all of this you do all this super long shooting. You're into it at a level that I am not. How much can you improve on over factory ammo by hand loading your own rifle ammo, for instance?
Well, the main advantages to hand loading, in my opinion, are the benefits for tailoring it to what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, as a competitor, we want to see an ultra-high BC bullet, and we want to push it at the max pressure. That's not always available for your cartridge.
Right.
The other opportunity is, hunting or self-defense or some other specialty of shooting. For hunting is another great example. Maybe you have a specific application. You're going deer hunting versus moose hunting. You're not going to choose the same bullet, but you choose a bullet that you can rely on and have relied on for other hunting, or maybe your friend told you about this bullet, mm-hmm. and you want to try it. You can tailor that to your cartridge and your preferences. Maybe you do want a really long shot. You need that bullet going really fast out of the barrel to begin with. Maybe you're hunting in the woods and you're not going to take a shot more than 100 yards away, and you want that terminal performance so that it delivers the most amount of energy to that animal at the distance you expect to shoot it.
And to your point, for those who may not know, is that the variety of bullets, projectiles that are available to hand loaders vastly exceeds, like by a factor of 10 or a factor of 100x, the bullets that are available in factory loads. And you can tinker. You can say, well, I don't want an AccuBond on this, and I'm going to use a Barnes TSX, or I'm going to use a Spear, or I'm going to go with this, or I really don't want the 150. I want the 165. And you tinker, and after a while, it really doesn't take long before the tinkering and the hand loading and the chase for the right round actually becomes a goal and an activity into itself, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And to that point, when you're reloading for yourself, you're actually reloading for a specific rifle. Factory ammo is loaded based on what they perceive the majority of the market wants or needs. Mm-hmm. And when you reload for yourself, you can tailor your charge weight, your bullet primer selections so that you get the maximum performance out of it. And some of that performance can be what we like to call standard deviation and extreme spread, and that's related to your velocity. Mm-hmm. Reducing those two can greatly improve your accuracy over extended ranges.
Well, and we could explain, now we get a chance to get pretty geeky. One of the things you're doing, and there's a lot of things in this that are really geeky, but one of the things you're doing with this, and it may be that the best load is not the fastest load. You're actually kind of fine-tuning the harmonics of the whole system. And there may be a load that's 1.2 grains below max that your rifle just loves, and it just shoots all those bullets into one little ragged hole. But if you go a little bit more powder, you get faster velocities, but the groups start expanding again. That's not uncommon at all, is it?
That is 100% of everything I deal with when I reload at the bench. That's what I'm looking for, is to make that one ragged hole every time.
And to that end, I know that hunters, we always say, well, I want the fastest load. But, the reality is, there's an awful lot of deer have been shot with a 7x57 with a bullet going 2650 out of the muzzle, versus 3200. And mm-hmm. if it shoots well for you, there may be some other parameters. Part of that would be, for instance, for a hunter, reliability, because you could get some max loads that are safe, but might have a little bit hard bolt lift, might be a little bit of an issue with extraction. And do I really want to take that chance of having a failure to feed when I'm out in the field?
And I'll put one more safety tip on top of that. What happens to that load when it rains on you and you get a little bit of water in your chamber? Now, instead of just a heavy bolt lift, you might have a case head separation. And now, if you come out okay, you have a stuck case in your chamber, and your gun's no longer functional.
Yeah, now you have a club, mm-hmm. or you developed your loads on a nice cool day, and then you go out in Wyoming and you're hunting antelope, and it's a 95-degree day, and all of a sudden those loads are at higher pressure. These are the things we talk about, and we're talking safety, but actually the reality is this stuff is easy. It's very easy to produce safe loads when you're hand loading.
Absolutely. A good reloading walk you through the steps needed to do that, and that's one of the most reliable sources you can go to.
The loading manuals. Yeah. And there's a bunch of different, and I would encourage people to have more than one loading manual, because if you have one thermometer, you don't really know what the temperature is. If you have two, they start to agree. You go, okay, I can trust that. If you had a load in there, and not that it doesn't happen, it's very, very rare, but if you had a load in there, you think, that's just odd looking. I don't know that is that a typo, or what is that with that powder charge? If you have a second loading man, you go, oh yeah, they have the same thing there. It must be okay.
And another thing about that is they're, again, talking about a specific barrel, a mm-hmm. load development that they put in their book. Your barrel might be longer and may be able to produce higher velocities, or maybe it's shorter and it doesn't reach the same velocity that their load manual states in the tables.
Well, excellent point. I'm in the process of having a 284 Winchester built right now, and it's going to have a 22-inch barrel. And there are people shooting F-class, and they're using 30 and 32-inch barrels, and they're publishing their loads, and I'm looking at that and going, there's no way that with a 22-inch barrel, I'm going to get the velocities they're getting out of a very long-throated, single-load 284 with a 32-inch barrel.
Absolutely. It's a concern that a safety concern I have when people share reloading data, just between friends or even online. Something you have to consider is how's my gun differ from his gun?
Well, once again, that's why we always say work up to a particular load. Don't take somebody's load and just start with that. You need to back off and work your way up. All of this is covered in the loading manuals, and over at, and our good friends at Brownells have a ton of information on this. I have to say, I went to your website and Reloading All Day. I saw a review of the Sinclair hand primer tool. And the funny part was, last Friday I just ordered one of those. I thought that's a coincidence.
They're great tools. I love hand primers. They allow you a fair amount of control over your seating depths, and it's a good way to ensure that you're getting consistent seating depths in your primers.
I tell you what, let's take a quick break. I want to come back. When we come back, let's talk about how does somebody get started in hand loading, and does it make sense these days? Because with the price of ammo, people are going, well, I could save a lot of money. I think it's one of those yes, but things, and we'll talk about that. We're talking with Lou Smith from reloadingalldday.com. You can take a look at that. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.